With that being said, my 2022 first week one dark horse of the week is going to be Christian Kirk, wide receiver for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Right now, he's a guy that I personally have in a few leagues, and I'm literally deciding between guys like, I guess I'll get to them in a second, but he's currently in my lineup. I plan on keeping him there. Christian Kirk played one game in the preseason, and that was the last preseason game that the Jacksonville Jaguars played in their week 3 preseason matchup. The things that I saw Christian Kirk do, I think he had something like 8 targets, and he was only in there for like maybe a quarter and a half. I love it. Last year, who did he look to? DJ Chark was hurt early in the year. Who was Trevor Lawrence thrown to? I literally can't remember anymore. Marvin Jones Jr., he's still there, and I expect him to, be relevant. Fine, sure, maybe not for fantasy.
Laviska
Shenault, who everybody was hyping up last year, didn't live up to it necessarily. I believe Laquan Treadwell. I don't even know. I literally don't even know. Yes. Did Christian Kirk screw up the entire not the entire fantasy market, the entire NFL market this offseason when he was the first wide receiver to sign and got absurd money to play in Jacksonville? Sure. Do I think he earned it? Maybe. Do I think he can live up to it? Yes. Trevor Lawrence is bound to take us next year. No sophomore slumps for Trevor Lawrence because his freshman disaster was a freshman disaster. So I expect him to do great things in year 2, or at least improve upon them, right? Because you can't really go anywhere down than where he was already. And because of that, I love Christian Kirk this week. I think he has a fine matchup with a Washington defense that, although was great at stopping the run last year, was susceptible in the passing game. I think he can get open. I love his utility. If he sticks with what he did in the preseason, that one small sample size that we saw, great things are yet to come for Christian Kirk. And it starts in week 1, and I couldn't say I love it more. That's my pick. That's my dark horse. The first one, week 1 of the NFL season, Christian Kirk, wide receiver for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And because we have to hard kind of pinpoint it, what would we say? Last year we struggled with this. We have to hit a point threshold, right? To consider them being relevant. Yes. So let's settle on a hard point threshold for wide receivers and running backs that gives them fantasy relevance. And I think the average should be 15 fantasy points in full PPR because that's not a slouch. That's a solid flex, maybe even a solid wide receiver 3 showing. So I think 15 PPR points for wide receivers is pretty hardy. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it just depends because, if you get 14 from your guy, you're not mad.
I don't know. I'm pretty pissed if Jonathan Taylor gives me 14 points.
Well, see, it depends on the guy. If Christian Kirk averaged 14 fantasy points this year, I would say that's pretty damn solid.
Yeah, fair enough.
So it's just I like to do. I mean, let's see. If only we had a fantasy app, sponsoring us. We could use
Sleeper.
We could go by sleeper projections. Beating sleeper projections, dark horses brought to you by Sleeper. And I just gave him a free advertisement.
Hey, you know what? Calvo came out today and subscribed. He gave us a like. Sutton's going to go out and lay an egg. And Calvo's going to be like, damn, those guys suck. But I like their personality, so I'm staying. And it's guys like that are going to take his places, Jacob. So thanks again, Calvo. What were you saying, Jacob?
I was going to say, what is Christian Kirk's? I'm trying to find. I don't have Christian Kirk in any league, so let's see. I'm trying to find what his projection is on Sleeper. So let's.
Oh, that's fair enough. I will say.
So his projection is 13.8. Why don't we do their full PPR projections on Sleeper? And if they beat that, we could use that.
Sure, that's fine. What's his projection this week on Sleeper?
13.08.
Let's do it. Easily beats that. I'm thinking 15 PPR fantasy points or more. And again, some of the guys that I'd rather start. Well, I guess I should say I want to start Christian Kirk. Some of the guys that I really want to start over him this week, guys like Brandon Ayuk, guys like Drake London in his first NFL game, guys like Alan Lazard, who we don't really know what he's going to do yet. I kind of want to wait and see. Guys like Amari Cooper. We don't know who his quarterback is yet. I think it's Jacoby Brissett, actually. But just a lot of guys with question marks that went around him in the drafts that you also might have on your team around this time. All guys that I would consider starting. Not starting. ahead of Christian Kirk. Sorry, my bad. Keep messing up my words tonight.